Hey everyone, this is Ted again. I wanted to go ahead and go over the Webserver Lab that we did previously and give you a few tips and tricks on how to be successful and get that thing to run as well. Um, First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Linux EC2 instance. So I'll go to the EC2 dashboard, I'll go to the instances, and then I'm going to launch an instance because currently I don't have any available. I'm just going to select the Amazon Linux 64-bit x86. We're going to use the T2 micro. We're going to use the standard details here. I'm also going to use the standard storage. And then I'm going to add a tag. I'm going to call it VM. I'm going to go to the security group, and we're just going to create a new one to go along with this. I'll review. We'll go ahead and launch. I'm going to create a new key pair, call it Linux VM. I'll download that. So that'll go to my downloads folder. And then I'm going to launch my instance. And while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get MobaX. So I'm going to Google search MobaX term. I will go to their website. From here, I'm going to click download. I'll choose the free edition and click download now. You'll see it'll give you a zip file. You'll probably have to go get that out of your downloads folder. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to drag it to your desktop just like this. You'll want to right click. You'll want to click extract all. You will then, it'll ask you some questions. So you'll want to extract it to the destination that it gives you. Once you hit extract, it'll run. You'll get a file folder that looks like this. When you open that file folder, you'll look inside and you'll see the MobaX term application. When you double click that, it will actually run and you'll get this right here. For right now, I'm just going to leave it set on start local terminal, and I'm going to go back to my EC2 instance. And now that my EC2 instance is completely up and running, I'll go ahead and click connect. So from the connection screen, I'm looking at the SSH client, and I'll leave that the way that it is, and I'm going to go back to MobaX term here. So first things first, you'll want to start a local terminal. Now you'll have to browse for the location on where you've actually got your security key downloaded. So like mine is right here. It's in my downloads folder. So I'm going to search for this file location. And one of the ways that you can do that is you can right click on your PEM file and you can look at your properties. Right here it gives you the location. It says it's in C users, my username, and downloads. So if you look at the instructions, it's going to ask you to browse for this location. So what I want to do here is I want to browse for that particular location on my computer, and we're going to follow the command cd, and then we're going to look for the C drive. and then it's going to be users. And this is going to be the file path that this is going to follow to look for that particular key. So now you see that it's got the drive, C users, my username, and the downloads folder where that's all located. So from here, you need to go back to your EC2 instance. You're going to grab right under here where it says example, you're just going to copy this whole example. So now that the command is copied, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to right click. And if you don't have it set up already, it's going to prompt you what to do with right click inside the console. So I had already changed it to where when I right click, it's going to paste the last thing that I used. So I went ahead and I pasted in that command that I copied off the EC2 console. I'm going to hit enter. And now you see that it actually moved me into my EC2 Amazon Linux instance. So I'm actually on my EC2 instance right now. So now I'm going to continue on with the instructions from the lab. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type sudo su, and that's sudo su. This is going to change us to a root user because we're going to add some stuff here to our Linux instance. So now we are going to do a few commands in order to add some stuff to our Linux instance. So the first one is going to say yum install httpd-y. So yum install httpd-y. We're going to hit enter. Now it went ahead and ran all these different commands. So it installed the HTTP downloader that we asked it to install. So now we're going to do chk config httpd on. So now we're going to ask it to turn HTTP on. So it went ahead and enabled the HTTPD service. We're going to restart that service just to make sure. And went ahead and restarted. And now we're going to type in so it's going to be VI, Victor India, space /var /www/html index.html. This is going to take us to the HTML editor. So from here, we're going to use I, the letter I. You just push it on your keyboard, and now you're going to see insert at the very bottom of the page. So now we're going to type this stuff in, and we're going to do just a little bit of HTML coding. Your first line will be HTML. You got to make sure that you put it in the correct brackets. Mouse out of the way so you can see what I'm typing. Now this next one, I push the tab key so that I can have the same indentation that they show on the lab. And then I'm going to indent twice. Now this is H1. It kind of looks like HL, but it's H1 according to HTML coding. And I have to put a forward slash in front of the H1 to let it know that I'm closing those brackets. So the same thing is going to happen on the next line when I hit enter. Is I have to put the bracket, I have to put the forward slash, and then I have to stop the font. And same thing here. We have to stop the marquee. And we have to stop the body. And finally, we have to finish the HTML code. So it should look a little something like that. The first one, you should have the less than sign, HTML, greater than. Then on the next line, the less than sign, body, BG color equals black, which is just stands for the background color, equals black. Then we're going to do the less than marquee, greater than. Then I did a tab to do the caret font color equals gold, so it's gold colored font. And then the other caret, then I did two tabs, the caret H1 with the closing, welcome to Apache Webserver and AWS instance. Then we had to close the H1 or your header, which is what H1 is header 1. And then we close the font, we close the marquee, we close the body, we close the HTML. Now to get out of this, we have to press escape, shift, and the colon all at the same time. So escape, shift, and colon. Now you're going to see that there's a colon down here at the bottom of the screen. So we're just going to type WQ and the exclamation point. And then we're going to hit enter. That's going to save and quit the editor for us at that point. Now we're going to go back to our AWS console, and we're going to look at our instance on the dashboard. So see here, here's my instance right here on the dashboard. Everything is up and running, but we have to change and add an inbound rule in order to allow our port 80 traffic or HTTP traffic. So from here, we're going to choose the security tab, and we're going to click on the hyperlink right here for security groups. And now you see that there's an inbound rule currently for SSH, but we have to edit the inbound rule so that we can allow the HTTP traffic. So from right here, I'm going to click edit inbound rules. We're going to add a rule. We're going to change it from custom TCP to HTTP, which is then going to give it port 80. We're going to change from custom to anywhere, and then we're going to save the rule. Now we see that we have two inbound rules. We have one for SSH, and we have one for HTTP. So we're going to go back to our EC2 panel, and we'll look at our running instance. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the public IPv4 address. We're going to copy that. We're going to open a new page. We're going to paste in and now we have our marquee that's scrolling across the top of the screen that welcomes us to the Apache Webserver in AWS instance. And that is how you successfully complete and set up a web server to run in your AWS instance.